keeping the same starters as the last few games?
No, Tari will start for Reed.
What led to the change?
Matchup.
With Fred, is there any update on his progress so far?
No, nothing new. I think officially at the 6-month mark within the last few days, and he's going about his business and picking up workouts on the court, but still no contact. And that's kind of obviously the barometer of anything, and so that's about it.
Is his return situation where if he's going to return at all this season, it has to happen before the regular season ends, or would you be potentially amenable to bringing him back in the middle of the series?
No, I wouldn't say before the end of the regular season. We're not, banking on it honestly, but the further we go, the better chance he has to come back. The more work he can get in, and so that would be the determining factor. But as always, it's tough to get thrown in, even at this point in the season, let alone a tough playoff series, being your first basketball in 6-7 months, and so we'll see.
When looking at your starting lineup for the playoffs, is that going to be simply a matchup base, or is there something Tari or Reed can do or that you want to see them do to?
No, we'd like to kind of figure out what we like, but there are specific matchups that are tougher for certain lineups, and so as we've had all season, it's been a kind of rotating fifth starter, and with what we want to do with Albert and some other guys tonight, and Tari, we like those defensive assignments there, and so still looking at things, and some teams, some lineups have had ups and downs, but we know what we get with certain ones, and still want to take a look at Reed, and most likely be back tomorrow.
And not as a slight to Reed, but is it a situation where you want Tari to shoot well enough and seize that role, so to speak?
No, it's not even. Honestly, this is a defensive matchup more than anything. Yes, he's played better lately and kind of snapped out of it a little bit, and we know that'll happen. But regardless of the shooting piece, I think this would have been a team that we'd have had this lineup against regardless.
And you talked about seeing these last 2 games, seeing your team do some of the things that you wanted them to improve upon. When you're playing against some of the teams at the bottom of the standings at this point in the calendar, how do you evaluate what's real versus what's just kind of happening based on the teams you're playing against?
Well, you can see a noticeable difference when we play with the right effort and energy and unselfishness and defensive mindset, regardless of the opponent. So we've had enough ups and downs this year to not really take a slight on any opponent, and we played up to competition with the better teams, and so for us it's really like I said, noticeable, the things we're looking for regardless of what the record of the opponent is. And so even the stretch in Minnesota was a good one that we gave away, but I like the effort to bounce back against Memphis and New Orleans, and that's what we're looking for regardless of opponent.
So your hoodie is a nod to the W tonight. Just how do you feel about the comments returning to Houston, and what, if any, interactions have you had with people on the WNBA side?
None. I mean, it's obviously just broke. The news just broke, and so just excited to have the team coming back, and history of winning, and great to have a WNBA in the market regardless. And so it's extra special to me. My sister played with that franchise for a few years, and to have them coming back to Houston is obviously a great thing, and so I want to give them a little bit of love for sure.
Just for, will Reed be back in the starting lineup tomorrow, you said?
Yeah, most likely, yes.
Anything else? Lashard?
And kind of speaking on the rotation, are you pretty much set as far as the players that you're going to have from like 8 and 9, or is Dorian still have a chance to get back into that rotation before the end of the season?
No, he definitely does. Like I said, I was looking at 4 or 5 guys that we were kind of rotating, and we played Aaron a little bit more when Reed was in the starting lineup. It's easier to kind of put him in that slot, but yeah, we still got a handful of games left to take a look at everybody, and Dorian's thing is really health based. We know what he brings to the table, and if he's moving right, getting the rhythm back, and he's looking healthy, he'll obviously get a chance. And so from there, it's really Josh is done all year, and Aaron and Jay Sean coming back off the injury. We got some guys we can go at, and we'll take a look at all of them throughout the rest of the regular season.
Last word?
You mentioned Dorian's health. Is that a night-to-night proposition, and is the pain in game, recovering from games? I guess what's the issue with his health right now?
No, I mean it sometimes takes longer to snap back from surgeries, and him and Jay Sean had a very similar one, but the timeline didn't match, and that's just people's bodies reacting to it differently. And so from there, we still, obviously didn't play him in back-to-backs this year, so that was something that he, couldn't do yet. But I think in general, it's just how you're feeling that night. Some nights he feels good, some nights he's struggling a little bit, and that's a lot of guys coming off of surgery, and so that's more so the barometer than anything. It's still no back-to-backs. He's past the 5-minute limits, running him in those longer stretches, but it's really how he recovers from game to game and how he feels on the night of the game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.